Namaste. When I started teaching Hindi online, I thought my job would simply be to teach Hindi grammar, vocabulary, and conversation. But over the years, after teaching students from many different countries, I realized something surprising. My students weren't the only ones learning. I was learning too. Today, I would like to share 5 valuable lessons that my students have taught me over the years. The first lesson I learned from my students is a clear interest, a curious mind, and consistency matters more than talent. When people ask me what makes someone successful at Hindi learning, they expect me to say a good memory or a natural talent for languages. But after teaching students from different countries for many years, I have come to a different conclusion. The students who make the greatest progress aren't always the most talented. They are the ones who have a clear interest, a curious mind, and the determination to keep learning consistently. Their reasons for learning may be different, but their curiosity keeps them motivated. Like any worthwhile journey, language learning also has its challenges. There are moments when grammar feels confusing or pronunciation seems difficult. But those who stay resilient and keep practicing even a little at a time eventually make remarkable progress. This has taught me an important lesson. Interest sparks the journey, curiosity keeps you engaged, resilience helps you overcome challenges, and consistency ultimately brings results, not just in language learning but in life. The second lesson I learned from my students is learning something new as an adult takes courage. Many of my students begin learning Hindi in their 30s, 40s, 50s, or 60s, and sometimes even later. Starting something completely unfamiliar at that stage of life is not easy. You will have to accept that you will make mistakes. You have to be willing to sound like a beginner. You have to ask questions and keep practicing even when you don't feel confident. That requires courage. It also requires commitment. I admire every student who chooses to step out of their comfort zone and begin to learn a new language. To me, curiosity and lifelong learning are beautiful qualities that deserves appreciation. The third lesson I have learned from my students is language learning brings out more of a curious, creative, and a human side of us. One of the most rewarding things I have observed is how language learning transforms people. Many of my students come to class either in the morning before they begin their busy workday or after finishing their busy workdays as engineers, researchers, therapists, or business professionals. But during the class, something changes. They laugh, tell stories, experiment with new words, and celebrate small achievements. For a while, they're not thinking about their deadlines or work. They're simply just enjoying the process of learning. To me, language learning nurtures curiosity and creativity. It becomes more than just learning words. It becomes a refreshing space to connect, express oneself, and experience the joy of discovering something new. The next lesson I learned from my students is every culture learns differently. Over time, I have noticed that students bring different learning habits to the classroom. Some enjoy understanding the grammar before speaking, while others prefer to learn through conversations and practice. Some ask many questions, while others prefer to learn by observing and listening. There isn't one perfect way to learn a language. A good teacher adapts to the learner. The next lesson I have learned is that teaching is a two-way journey. Perhaps the biggest lesson I have learned is that teaching isn't just about sharing knowledge. It's about listening. It's about understanding different perspectives. My students have introduced me to their cultures, traditions, experiences, and ways of thinking. These conversations have made me more open-minded and have reminded me that language learning creates connections that go far beyond words. So when people ask me what it's like to teach Hindi to students from around the world, I usually say this. I teach Hindi, but every day My students teach me something too. That's one of the reasons why I continue to love what I do. Thank you to every student who has been part of this journey. If you like this video, please like, subscribe and share this video.